in the room. Come on in the room. Doc Rivers is our doctor. He writes out all our scripts. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's the preseason, baby. Cream City crossover. Bucks lose 107-102. It's the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
Hold on. Before you get to me, we got a special guest in the building. We got our man, Justin from NC. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm just a avid Bucks fan. Got a couple Bucks tattoos. When they get another one, I'm going to put one on the forehead.
All right.
Forehead is crazy work.
Your boy JT, you're going to put one on the forehead. All right, sir. Man, you know what's wild? I got this ring light for lighting, right? And I feel like I'm about to sell content. Like I'm a content creator.
Yo, all right. I don't know how y'all just started this with the content creation going on, the ring lights. And Justin, special guest, Justin's gonna be with us. I mean, Justin is here. Sure. It ain't really on no guest stuff. Justin's gonna be with us a lot this season as an addition. No Chris King tonight at the Cream City crossover, but the Bucks do lose it 107-102. Want to welcome everybody to season 2 of the Cream City crossover. We appreciate you for joining us. You joined us obviously all last year and being with us this year. Again, it's going to be just as good. We got a lot of special things for you, trying to bring it to the table. And again, it's just going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. Tonight, it didn't go the way we wanted to go, but we'll it's the preseason, right? And we get this thing, we'll get this thing working. 107-102 was the final. Get at me in the comments on YouTube and on Twitter at TCIIESQ. And let's do a quick recap here again. I'm not too concerned with everything that took place in the game, but the first half, the starters did play, and the Bucks look good with the first half of this basketball game. And so that's really what I was concerned with, more so than anything. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 10 of 18 tonight, 55% shooting, put up 20 points. You look at Damian Lillard, who was 2 of 7, 33% from 3, only 8 points tonight from Damian Lillard. I thought Gary Trent Jr., he only put up 3 points, but I thought Gary Trent Jr. was all over the place defensively. He did have 4 assists as well. Bobby Portis, 8 of 9, 5 for 5 from 3, put up 23 points in 14 minutes. He was really good. I thought A.J. Johnson played well, 5 of 12 tonight, putting up 13 points, but just all over the floor. So you saw some really good things. Marjon Beauchamp was 2 of 3, but he ends up being a minus 13. Some untimely turnovers for another young boy, Tyler Smith. Andre Jackson Jr. still got to figure out what he's got going on. Chris Livingston only 5 minutes late. This game did come down, close at the wire. Again, the Bucks were up at the halftime. At half, I thought they looked good. LeBron was 4 of 11, got blocked by Giannis a couple times. Got a technical as well. He didn't even want to be in Milwaukee this evening, but he had to show up. He tweeted it. I mean, he tweeted. He didn't know why the NBA sent him to Milwaukee. LeBron does everything. He's writing books. He's putting out schools. He wants to make the schedule in the NBA apparently as well. Didn't work out for him tonight, but they got the win. Anthony Davis 5 of 14. D'Angelo Russell 3 of 10. Dalton Connect 5 of 16. Gabe Vincent was 3 of 5. Jackson Hayes 3 of 4. Bronny James 0 for 4. So again, just 14 points from Rui Hachimura, 11 points from Davis, 11 points from LeBron, and 13 from Connect. So again, interesting game. The young boys had to close it out in the second half. Here's the thing, a couple things about this, and I'll let the game recap kind of go. The Lakers, it looked like had to. The Lakers in the second half played their starters, right? And at least throughout some of the third quarter. LeBron didn't play, but Anthony Davis was in late. And at some point, the Lakers in the fourth quarter, they go on a 17-0 run to get themselves back in the basketball game and really to put it out of reach for the Bucks. So again, congrats to them for doing it. But if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm looking at a couple of different things tonight. I like the game from Giannis. I like the game from Bobby Portis. I really like the young boy, the rookie A.J. Johnson. He looks. Somebody said it on Twitter earlier. Fluid. He looks fluid. He's getting in and out of things. And I think there's something there. We always talk about John Horst. Chris King likes to talk about John Horst and how he misses on draft picks. But A.J. Johnson's got something there. He's got to put it all together, but he's got something there. But again, the other young boys, you really got to figure out, what are you doing, Marjon Beauchamp? What are you doing, Andre Jackson Jr.? What are you doing, Chris Livingston? Those guys, they didn't play well in the first preseason game either. Again, second preseason game, A.J. Johnson got it together, but the rest of them, they got to figure out what the hell they got going on. But again, Bucks was at 107-102. First half, the Bucks do their thing. Second half, it's okay. It was the young boys. But there's going to be some question marks as far as what's happening with the young boys and what they have to do. That's what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
Man, a lot of the same thing you saw. Listen, I love to see Giannis in aggressive, out there balling 20 points in 20 minutes. He was out there getting busy, nasty work, was out there playing like it was a game that meant something, right? Bobby Portis as well. Let me take a step back. Remember, guys, we missed Giannis in the playoffs, so it was important. It's the first time we saw him put the Bucks jersey on again, even though it was a preseason game. Like what I saw from Giannis. Same thing, Bobby Portis. You talk about that nasty work, 23 points in 15 minutes, very efficient out there. Bobby was balling, especially in that first half. But just because I want to make sure that we put some respect on his name, I like the young boy AJ. I really do. And I'll be one of the first people to say that I was a little nervous when we drafted him because it was like, man, I don't know about this. And Horst's track record is less than remarkable, right? Quite honestly, it's terrible when it comes to first-round picks and contributors. But I like what I see. I think you see a lot of talent. You can just looking off tonight's game, you see some different variations in the skill set there. And, I mean, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is what is his role in this offense? Does he make a role for himself in this offense? Because quite honestly, because Middleton out, there's an opportunity for a lot of guys, Derry Bird, a bunch of guys to come out and make an impact this season. And I like what you see from him, from the skill set of the young boy. And part of me as a Bucks homer is hoping that we do have our first round pick that really does contribute night in and night out. That we have not seen. Same note, you talked about Marjon Beauchamp. Man, there was a Marjon sighting in that second half. Marjon, 14 minutes tonight. I can't think of the last time he played 14 minutes. I'm not sure Marjon played 14 minutes the second half of last season combined. Other thing, right? Sloppy free throw shooting tonight for both teams. I don't think either team cracked 65% in the free throw shooting percentage, which is a tad low. And you had a little bit of a turnover party with some of the bench guys on the Bucks. But listen, we came out, we competed, we didn't win, but it's preseason. Lot to work with here.
Yeah, man, I agree with a lot of that. Like, I think that the Bucks came out, and if we talk about fluidity, those brothers definitely played good basketball tonight to some extent. I mean, shout out to LeBron for having to take that long flight to Milwaukee and having to play in that preseason game, and they get his stuff rocked by Giannis to show him who the big dog is on the court. I'm just really excited, man. These young guys they coming out, they kind of getting their little royal oats together, turning the ball over a little bit. That is frustrating. But the thing is, I want you to turn it over in October and not turn it over in March and April. But shout out to Daniel. I already got the guest appearances comment on the joint. So appreciate you. Hey, good. Listen, I wish I had the resume of Common, whether it be from the movies, from the music, or the women. Just keep it a buck. But, I'm impressed, man. And I'm so excited about this year because I want to see what Doc can do. Because Doc is going to come with his guys and be ready to play. But my concerning thing for tonight, who's going to make this roster for the young boys? Is Livingstone gone? Is Marjon gone? Is Ajax gone? Like, these guys getting bad plays and garbage time? I don't know if that gets you here, gets you to Oshkosh, or gets you on the Wizards. Sorry. Shout out to Bradley Beal.
Yeah, we'll talk about Bradley Beal in a second. That's a great point. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Says happy Thursday. Hey, everyone. John Hassel says at least we don't have to watch Beasley this year. They will be great this year. Middleton can take his time. And then we see Chris King. And then Charles Mills says, awesome to be watching you guys again. Championship season, here we go. That's what we want to see, right? We want to talk about the championship season. But you mentioned the young guys. We can stay there before we get to Bobby Portis and him being on the heater and what that means and how this team's going to look. Let's talk for a second about these young boys. And again, I mentioned it. A.J. Johnson, I think there's something there. I was talking to you off air about this before we got on, Justin, where we talked about Chris Livingston. And I said this in Summer League. and I got some pushback. When I watched Chris Livingston play in the Summer League, and again, the Summer League, we know the type of talent that's out there in the Summer League, but and my question was always for him, what does he actually do? What is he doing? The pushback I got for what Chris Livingston does is, well, he hustles. He's all over the floor. He's like a jack of all trades, 5-tool player. That's what they give me about Chris Livingston, which is cool. But you think about those guys, and the best play, and every team needs a guy that kind of does the dirty work. But here's the thing about Chris Livingston that I have to figure out, and that I want to figure out. Those primetime players, when I think of guys that do all the dirty work, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is your boy from Golden State. Draymond Green. Draymond Green's first name comes, but what does Draymond Green also do? He's also one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, at least in his prime. He's one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. He can also initiate offense a little bit. Another guy comes to my mind, played for the Milwaukee Bucks, PJ Tucker, does everything, all the little things, get the rebounds back. But what did PJ Tucker do in his prime? Corner three. One of the best defenders, can defend the perimeter, can defend inside. And then another guy, Alex Caruso, jack of all trades, does a lot of things, always busy, doing a lot of dirty work on the boards, getting loose balls, hustling. But what can he actually do? He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can initiate offense. All of those guys, when you think of players who can do different things, when you think of players who are those dirty players that you just kind of that you need, those guys that are going to hustle, they're going to make the extra effort, do those things. All of those guys, they also have a skill set that goes along with it that is much more than just we hustle, we're out here competing. Everybody's competing. You got to have something that goes with it. Another guy that fits the same mold is Andre Jackson Jr. Like, hustle's going to get blocks, going to be impact, spark plug. But what is your actual skill that you're going to be able to lean back on and look at and really take that's going to propel your game to the next level? You got to have that. And that's what I'm missing from Chris Livingston. I get that he does the dirty work, but what else can he do with it? That's my question. I see A.J. Johnson, and I think there's some things there, very fluid, can handle the ball. Probably one of the shiftiest guys we've seen since at the point guard position since Brandon Jennings. Really, when I talk about just being shifty and really moving and being fluid with it. But, I do like you guys. I have questions about our young guys and what they actually can provide to this basketball team outside of hustling.
Well, to be fair, I think that from the young guys, from a developmental perspective, I think Andre Jackson Jr. has shown you enough over the last year to where you keep him on the roster regardless, because he is going to make those hustle plays. He is going to be a momentum guy. He is going to be the guy diving and getting loose balls, getting boards, getting key blocks, locking folks down in spots here as well. You've shown that typically the moment's not too big for him. Yes, there were some lapses last year, but for a lot of times the moment's not too big for him too, especially at key moments in that fourth quarter when you need him to lock down a guy on the perimeter. So I think you have that hustle young guy that you keep in that I don't want to call him a glue guy, because I think you got to do a little bit more on the stat sheet, but you have that developmental young guy there. The next thing though is conversely, you can't have a roster full of young guys like that, right? Like, somebody got to do something good. Somebody got to do, right? So I agree with you. Livingston, I think Livingston's probably on the outs. I think Marjon is gone. I do. I don't think either one of those guys are on this opening day roster. I would be stunned. I think that, look, Marjon getting some minutes, right? Maybe you're playing guys to see if there's any interest there. But I think Marjon, we've already talked about, I think Marjon's been cooked, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when he's in another jersey.
So the problem with some of these young guys thinking it up like this, right, is they have no trade value now. Like, at one point we were hoping that we could flip Marjon for something, and I don't know if there's any market there for him. But man, like you mentioned a lot of guys, Trey. I'm a resident OG, somebody's Papa J in these streets. So I remember like the Vinny Del Negros and stuff like that, right? Dudes that they weren't great on anything, but they got a job done on the court. I really struggle to see and I like Livingston. I like every one of the Bucks. I'm a homer. I love the Milwaukee Bucks. Fear the deer and all that stuff. But dude, listen, you're the master of nothing if you're the master of everything. And we need you to get in and lock somebody down. The thing I like about Ajax, though, if there's a foul that needs to be happened, if there's something, a tough play, he's going to make it. You can't teach dog. Ajax is a dog. Livingstone, you're not playing enough. And when you get these spare moments in the preseason, you got to carpe diem. You got to seize this moment. And I didn't see it tonight. I'm not saying he can't do it, but you better do it. Or, Brody, Oshkosh is calling you, my G. Real Sioux City, one of them towns. They call you, bro.
Yeah, he'd be lucky to end up in Oshkosh. One of them, we talk about one of them Akias, right? Czechoslovakia, one of them spots over there. That might be calling you, right? The Shanghai Sharks might be calling you, right? You eating them super fresh food. Might still be alive on you. That's what I'm talking about.
Man, sit next to Pat Bev on that bench.
Right.
Yeah,
out there what was that? What was that? I don't know. What was that?
Hey,
right.
You
you over in one country.
He said, what is that? Oh, y'all wow. y'all wilding in the preseason.
You telling me that whole
my
week
God.
will get down like that? I'm just saying, like, listen, man,
man.
you gotta act a little more worldly.
Y'all wilding in the preseason. I love it, fellas. No, I agree though. I'm with you. I totally agree. Poe Jones says I never even call that guy's name. 18. We remember we used to call semi Ojala at 37. 18 was talking about crumpled to the floor. He was terrible. That man soft as he terrible. He's falling around like man. Look like he talked. Well, I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna say something. He falling around like his baby oil on the floor, like Diddy was doing court maintenance. But I ain't gonna go there tonight. You see, y'all already taking me there. And I don't want to do that. But yeah, 18 was terrible. There were some guys on the floor. We had dudes like Theo Von, and that's the thing about the preseason. I don't know half of these guys right. Oshkosh calling, the Greensboro Swarm is called. All these teams, get wherever you're going because you're not going to be in the league. And so that is what it is. But some of these guys, they got to play well. Let's talk about a guy who did play well. Keep this show moving right along. A guy who did play well was Bobby Portis. And again, he was on an absolute heater. 5 for 5 from 3. Looked like he couldn't miss. But here's the thing about Bobby Portis. We talked about this. We talked about this a lot last year. What Bobby Portis are we going to get? We know he's not going to shoot 8 for 9 every night in 15 minutes, 5 for 5 from 3. We know that's not what he is. But are we going to get more from a consistency basis this year? Remember he had lethal shooter, and like his shot fell off a little bit. And lethal shooter too much. You can shoot through 3-foot spikes if you want. That's not an NBA game. I understand it looked cool on YouTube, but you got to shoot in the NBA game. I totally get it. But Bobby Portis, what type of player are we getting? Are we getting a guy who's going to take the correct shots, shoot the threes, hit the open looks that he's going to take, try a little bit on defense? Remember, there's a game in Indiana last year you probably win if you get a rebound. Bobby Portis, in the playoffs, Bobby Portis was nowhere to be found rebounds. Are we going to get that guy this year? We can get the guy that is going to give effort, talking about guys to give effort, or are we going to get the guy who, it's got to be an ISO every time down the floor, even if he's missing, and you look up, he's taking, 15 shots, and Giannis is only taking 7, and we like, hold on, there's no balance here. What's happening? That's a question about Bobby Portis. But again, when it looks good, it looks good. When he's hitting the shots, Bobby Portis is like one of the greatest players. When he looks like he should win 6th Man of the year. And that's what he looked like tonight. Hopefully we see more of that. I think there are a lot of people who think that like we just hate on, or at least me, that I hate on Bobby Portis. I'm not. I hate bad basketball. And when Bobby Portis plays bad, again, what we say, JT, I don't work for the Bucks. They don't pay me not one dime. So if people aren't playing well, we're going to call it out. Tonight was a good Bobby Portis night, and, we'll see what that continues to look like. Again, I'd love not to be here and not be calling for him to be traded during the deadline. I would love for that. But who knows? We'll see how he plays. We'll see how this team looks.
And I think Justin may say something different, but I think the thing about Bobby Portis is we've seen him be remarkable in the regular season in spots. We've seen this is nothing new. Nobody should be surprised when we see Bobby play this way because we've seen it before. I think the issue that we've had before was the fact that Bobby Portis in a 7-game playoff series, right, from a defensive perspective, if them shots ain't hitting on offense, it ain't really worth much on defense, and so you basically become unplayable, or he becomes maybe one-dimensional, playing them in spots here. And so a spark plug that this team typically has, they do not have. All of a sudden, he eliminates. He's kind of he's a guy that you can't play at that time. And that's one of the biggest issues with Bobby Portis. So one thing I'd like to see Bobby Portis, the defense. Everybody's skeptical, right? Can Bobby defend? Can he move those feet? Can he get out there? Can he do that? You see it in spots. We thought it was better under Doc. Okay, what's it like now after a full offseason under Doc? Right? What does Bobby Portis look like? I think that's a reasonable question. But having said that, though, Bobby Portis looked great tonight. And Bobby Portis looked great tonight, getting the Bobby going during preseason. I can't knock that.
So y'all brothers a lot smarter than me. Both y'all boys got Esquire on the back of y'all names. So hey, real quick before I ask y'all this question though, can I take one personal privilege and shout my son, light skinned Justin, JR, in the chat tuning in tonight, man. Feel like an old head, but he locked in Bucks fan out there at Troy University in Alabama.
Hey,
just good young man. But so y'all brothers, what do you call the position underneath the mayor? What's the next highest after the mayor?
Is it like alderman or something, or like is that like? I mean, probably your city council structure or whatever.
I don't know.
But whatever that position is, that is Trey Crosby. So I cannot have you talking about this blasphemy about the mayor of Milwaukee. Like, Bobby can do no wrong to me. I'm a homer. Hey, he gonna move his feet or he not. I need you to give me 10 and 10. That's all I need from you, Bobby. I think he is the sixth man of the year. He's the best player outside of that starting five for the Bucks. And I'm gonna say that he has a veteran now, Doc Rivers, who was at one time Bobby Portis coming off that bench at the end of his career, right? So if anybody can kind of hone this guy in, and he's done it with lots of guys and the Clippers and the Celtics and that other god-awful city that we're not going to mention them because they got eliminated from the playoffs just like we did in baseball. But he gets guys to play. And I think Bobby's going to have a resurgent year. And I'm going to go ahead and put my stamp on it and call Bobby Portis sixth man of the year. And definitely the guy of Milwaukee and the mayor MC.
This is why I like this. This is why we're going to have a lot of fun this year on this show. For just like this, Justin is going to give you the homer takes, and I'm with it. So we're gonna have a lot of fruitful discussions. I feel like as the season goes on about some of this. And yeah, shout out light skinned Justin too. Your son. So I appreciate him joining us and listening to us. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of discussions about that. And again, when it looks good, it looks good. When it don't, it don't. And you're gonna. Hey, I'll say this. Here's the only thing I'll let you go, JT. I want you call your shot on Bobby Portis sixth man of the year. Let's hope it don't go the way you called your shot on Wisconsin beating Alabama, because we know that wasn't gonna happen.
Well,
so
listen,
I just say that's what I'm saying.
Too soon.
I'll say that Bobby does have a chance to change that narrative. Now, listen, Trey and I myself. There's a lot of Bucks fans that feel a bit scorned because they've seen this movie with Bobby Portis and it just has not worked out in the postseason, right? Yeah, kind of like the 2016 voters, right? They're scorned, and even though things may be changing, they may be different, you've seen it before, you're still in your feelings because of that too. Having said that, there is a chance for it to change here. One thing that I am optimistic about is that Doc, again, like I said, full offseason under Doc. There's no midseason coaching. There's no silly stuff going on with the staff. There's some continuity there. There is a coach who seems to be very hands-on, who's going to remember when Doc last year went down the line and told everybody, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do. I'm assuming in the exit interviews, he probably said, this is what we're going to get better, this is what we're going to do. Let's be optimistic about Bobby on the defensive side of the ball. Let's just wait and see here, because I think you're right. Maybe that narrative does change, right? Maybe the way we've seen Bobby over the last few years is no longer accurate. And I do want to give him the space and the opportunity to change that. Because I don't want us to think, oh man, Bobby ain't gonna be worth nothing in the play. Maybe not. And I'm telling you, if Bobby is playable in the playoffs and he can get, we cooking. We definitely cooking.
Well, and like I said, that's the thing. Are you putting up 20, 25 points, and are you giving up 25 on the other end, or are you contributing and playing well? And that's again the great Sam Mitchell. I listen to him all the time. One of the things that he talks, and listen to him all the time NBA radio. One of the things he talks about is he had that conversation. I can't remember who the coach was, where he wasn't playing well offensively, and the question had to be asked to him: if you're not playing well, if your jump shot's not going in, do I need to bench you? Do you have to sit beside me? And he said that kind of changed his career trajectory, his thinking, because that's what, if you're not, think about Giannis when he's not hitting at the rim, when the shots are going down, he's giving you everything else. And that's the difference with Bobby. Like, if when the shot isn't going down, and there are just going to be nights like that where the shot's not going down, Do you need to sit down, or are you going to find a way to stay on the court because you are productive? At Light Seraph on the Twitter says, responding to the post game, says A.J. Johnson and Tyler Smith should get all the preseason minutes they can get. Ajax should only play with Dame or A.J. Johnson. He can't initiate the offense yet. His game is fueled by energy and defense. Doc should let him thrive there. Doc pulled AJJ and Tyler too early equals game lost at a zip 70. Says exactly, Marvin, at Light Seraph. You hit the nail on the head there. Any thoughts about that? I mean, it's preseason. I'm not getting too wrapped up in the minutes and whether or not the Bucks won or lost. Again, your biggest thing, you saw Dame come up hobbling in the first quarter. He did come back into the game. So getting through the preseason with no injuries is my biggest thing. But the only thing I'll jump on there is I do think there is some credence to picking where guys play so that they can like you said, thrive is the word to use, but so that they are able to use their abilities to their best, so they look their best. So if you need to, I want to see what guys look like, because you're not going to play with all starters. But what does an A.J. Johnson look like on the floor with Giannis? What do some of these guys look like when they're on the floor with starting caliber players versus all of them being clumped in together with the whole bench, with a young boy bench mob? And, sometimes when you have all that cluster going together, it doesn't look as good. But who knows? Tyler Smith on the floor with Giannis, maybe there's something that some spacing that gets him right and he plays a little bit better. Instead of being on the floor with 18 and whoever the hell else they tried it out there with him, that shouldn't be in an NBA uniform.
Yeah, it remains to be seen, right? We got the Bulls and Mavericks left, so maybe you'll get some different looks, kind of mixing guys up in the lineup a little bit and starting to play some of these guys with starters. That's a really good point as to how that looks, because you're right. It's a bit of a cluster when you're out there with training camp guys, camp bodies.
Yeah.
I think what I want to see from Doc is put these guys in uncomfortable positions in the preseason, right? Let Ajax run that offense. Let's see what he can do with it. And I agree with Sarah. Like, she definitely had a great point. But I'm okay with Ajax being in there right now because you got to show me something. And if you can't show me something, it's a one-way ticket to Oshkosh. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I hate to be that cold, but that's like, listen, we're not the Milwaukee Bucks of 95 with the purple and green on. We just hoping to sniff a playoffs. We're a world championship caliber team, regardless of what national media say about the Knicks and the Sixers and everybody else. We're contending for the championship. So put Ajax in uncomfortable positions, put A.J. Johnson in it, and let's run with it. Let's see what we can do. Keep mixing it up. And, this is going to play off in the long run. Like, the regular season doesn't move me anymore. We got to see what we're going to do in this postseason. So get these boys ready to go to the postseason.
That is correct. Justin MKE does say Dame, one of the things he saw from the game, he says Dame still hasn't figured out how to play with Giannis. And then he responded to him and said, I think it's the other way around. We'll have that conversation. I don't really want to go down that road today because, again, it's a preseason. I'm not going to say, again, Dame did have some bad turnovers, but I'm not going to really get into the whole Dame Giannis thing today. Interesting point, though. I do think the only side point I'll make to that is, and Giannis was already here. To me, again, this is the only thing I say. If I invite you into my home, who has to adjust to the rules and the regulations of how things should go? Do you adjust to your guest, to the gentleman, to the person who is coming into your home, or should your guest have to adjust to your rules? And that's the only thing I'll say. That's the only thing I'll say about the Dame Giannis situation and who's got to be more, willing to make amends and make things right. To me, you're the guest. You're coming in. If I say shoes off at the door, that ain't what I know. Shoes off at the door. That's the rule.
But hang on.
That's the rule.
But listen, Trey, hang on. If you come, it depends on what you invited them to come over and do. That's the real answer to that question. It depends on what you invited me to come over to do. If you invite me, what you invite me to come over to do, we gonna kick it. All right, cool. We gonna kick it and chill. It's your crib, cool. You gotta be coming over to perform some sort of service, right? Am I doing this? Am I coming over playing a specific role? Am I doing?
I don't know.
No, we ain't doing that tonight. You're not calling me yet. I'm saying, like, it's a difference. It depends on what you brought that man to do, right? Right? Are you bringing me in as a roommate? Hey, this is half and half. We splitting this thing, right? That's where I think that's the Bucks approach is, because even Giannis last year would say this is Dame's team, right? He would do that. So there's it's a half and half, right? From a property owner, right? Both names are going on the title here, and I think that's kind of what it is, when it comes to the ownership interest of this team. So I agree, it doesn't fully look comfortable yet. And think about it like this. I don't want to I'm not trying to feed any nonsense clips because national media runs with this stuff and it's crazy, but they did not play together all summer. They said it. They didn't play together all summer. I think they text a lot and they FaceTime a lot. I don't know if it was 2K or what, right? But they didn't play together all summer. And remember, they didn't play together in that playoff series, right? So it's been a little while since these guys have gotten on the court against another jersey as well. And there's still some growing there. I think for us as fans, we think that the growing would happen a lot faster, but it doesn't mean that it can't. But I do think, I don't remember, was it Marvin, whoever said, I think he's right. I think that this is just this may be a thing, for the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, whose team it is and all that stuff is good, but I just need dogs. Shout out to the great philosopher PJ Tucker. We dogs, and that's what we need on this floor. We need dogs on this floor. Whether they want to be Giannis is one, and Dame is Batman or Robin, whatever I'm trying to say. You need a Batman, you need a Robin, and I don't care which one it is. I just need you to get that smoke. When Joel Okafor and the boys come to town, I need you to cook them. When that boy, what that boy name is from Minnesota that went to New York and came back to Minnesota, and they sent the other ex-Buck that got a ring with us out there to Minnesota. All them boys come to town. You need to put your foot down and put it on their neck and let them know. I don't care about losing to the Oklahoma City. Well, I do care about losing them. I don't care about losing to the Utah Jazz or somebody like that. But when these big dogs come to town, you show them it's us. I don't care where we sit in this playoffs. You come and you get that smoke to these boys. And look, man, Giannis and Dame going to be all right, man. I know we worried, and I know it's preseason, and like you said, Trey, great point. They ain't play together all summer. But them boys texting. Those are high-level basketball players. They don't need to play together. It's like this, man. I
don't know about that.
I hate to take you to this golf stuff, but I'm going to do it 1 second if that's okay. So I don't play with my teammates but once a year. But when we get together, it's dogs on the course. Who wants smoke? Come out there. And that's what I need my two dudes to do.
Nah, I need these boys to play together. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I need Giannis and Dame to play together. I need it, right? Because when you get that synergy together, right, then they can start getting a feel for what this man gonna do before they do. It's just the magic happens when guys have synergy, when they have that continuity. Perfect example, Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton been playing with Giannis years. He just knows, right? He just seemed to know.
True.
Right. I'm not asking for Dame and Giannis to have that type of chemistry, but you got to have something. Can't be on a date talking about, what's your favorite color? Yeah, okay, cool. I like that too. Nah, that ain't it. That's not going well, right? What we need, you got to get these guys on the same page. They got to make up for lost time, right? These are two fellas that got to do that. They got to make up for lost time, and there needs to be a sense of urgency there so they can get on the same page, which can happen. It certainly can happen.
It's a long year. A lot that's going to happen. We'll figure this out as the thing goes on, and we'll see. Like I said. I will say this to both of your points. There is something to be said about them not playing together. I know Giannis was busy. I know he did the Olympics. I know he got married, all of that. But if there seems to be the same issue that goes throughout the year of those two guys not meshing and not gelling, there are going to be a lot of questions that are going to come out about, well, why didn't you guys get together? It's just like quarterbacks and wide receivers. It always, hey, he got together. They threw over the. Yeah, you want to see some of that. Emma Smith says, "Come on in the room. What's up? Emma? We appreciate you. Tell a friend to subscribe to the Cream City Crossover and make sure that you like and follow everything we got going on the Cream City Crossover. Moving right along. I do for a second. As we hasten through this, go to Bronny James. He was a dud tonight. You call him. I won't do that. Bronny James, man, I'm looking at his stat line. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then 4. He missed 4 shots. So he didn't do it. He missed 4 shots and did nothing else. He ran around. About the only thing Bronny James did outside of what we did tonight was throw the ball up. We shot the same percentage. We got the same amount of rebounds. We got the same assists. Everything we did was the same. We just didn't run around on an NBA floor and have a jersey on. Bronny James has gotten the opportunity. Again, I will say this first and foremost. He's a young man. I wish the best for him. I don't root. Are there guys I root against? Absolutely. Bronny James has done nothing to me or he is LeBron James' son. There are pros. There are a lot of pros. There are more pros that come with that than cons. But one of the cons is when you get on the basketball court, people see James and they gonna look at you and be like, "What you got going on? You need to be somebody." And right now, I will say this, and I'm all for it. Listen, there's nepotism everywhere. I'm all for more black nepotism that goes. I'm cool with it. LeBron got his kid into the league, and he forced him into LA. That is no different than an executive in a company for getting their kid into whatever school, getting their kid into whatever role and position, and roll them right up into whatever they end up doing. So this happens in the real world. Again, this is different because it's televised. We're looking at it. I just say all that to say I have no problem with Bronny James as a person. I wish the best for him. He's not ready for the NBA. It's very clear he's not ready for the NBA. He probably at best he should be in the G League or whatever. I think there is talent there. I don't think there's no question there's talent that he has. It's just not NBA level talent. I don't know if it'll ever be really NBA level talent as far as what he can be. I don't know what he can be. But having the last name James helps out. But right now, again, you saw him at USC, and he's also coming back from the heart issue as well. Probably I don't want to say he came back too fast, but he came back, and he didn't have a full season at USC. He should have gone back. At the very least, he should have been a 3 or 4 year player at USC or wherever he decided to transfer in college. And then we say, okay, what kind of skill set do you have? But right now, I guess my expectations are very low for Bronny James. And I don't know. I feel like there are gonna be guys that try him. Like I think if they don't put him in the G League, there are gonna be guys that go out there and say, I got to make a name for myself. And Bronny James is the guy who I'm gonna go out and go after. And let me cross him up. Let me dunk on him. Let me show. Hey, I couldn't get you, Bron, but your kid gonna get some of this work. I think that's out there for him. And lessons gonna have to be learned. Welcome to the NBA.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing that they're playing together. The father-son thing, it's very rare. We're talking about this before the show, right? But I do think that it's going to be fun for the first couple of weeks. Okay, LeBron James playing with his son. Okay, right? And hopefully they're throwing alley-oops to each other. There's some highlight reels. Most likely that's probably not going to happen because I think when Bron is on the court and Bronny's on the court, I think Bronny's going to be probably playing against some starters unless JJ Redick really picks and chooses who he's going against. And right now, Bronny James is nowhere near being that caliber of player. Having said that, you got to do something because it's LeBron James playing with his son. Okay, great. But if you're not out there balling too, I think people are going to get over it. And at some point, it's going to look bad. There's going to be a whole lot of did not plays out there. So it's like, yeah, your son's on the roster. If he's on the active roster, I remember there was some pushback about, I think Rich Paul said Bronny wasn't going to sign a 2-way contract. So there was this is a situation where it has to be managed the right way. You have a first-year head coach in JJ Redick. Remember, the NBA get rid of you after 1 year. They're not going to give coaches 2 and 3 years like the NFL will. So you've got to be very, very careful in how you manage the situation. I think Bronny can develop. I agree with you. You see a lot of traits there, but no, he's not ready there. Now the question is, how much do the Lakers want to force playing him? How much do the Lakers want to force putting him out there on the court? Is it going to be a situation where they say, hey, LeBron, we're going to give you 5 minutes with your son every night, right? And then the question is that detrimental? If people gunning for Bronny and if people putting, they putting up threes on his head, they doing this left and right, they dunking on him, man. He's out there looking crazy. I mean, there's a lot to be managed with this situation, but I guess we can all feel good about it for the first couple of weeks of the season.
So nepotism is something that happens throughout the world, like you said, Trey. I mean, you see it in the PGA Tour with Tiger Woods getting Charlie Woods PGA Tour exemptions when the boy don't deserve to be out there. He getting his head beat in. Just a fact. And, shout out to Monique. She told us don't hate on Bronny Jr., but I don't know
and for that's my mother. Hello. Your son's in here. My mom's in here. What's going on? I'm not hating on. I'm not hating on Bronny Jr.
Shout out.
I'm not hating on.
Matter of fact, shout out to Miss Monique. Then let's keep it. Let's keep it a buck.
Right. Hey, Mrs. Crosby, thank you for joining us. And Mrs. Crosby, tell y'all not to hate on Bronny. Y'all better not hate on Bronny. Y'all better move on. Move on with your life. Mrs. Crosby told y'all.
Miss Monique. I am an HBCU veteran. I am a CIAA dude. I am a MEAC fan. And the only thing I'm going to tell you about Bronny, I think it's great that he's there. I appreciate it. I appreciate what LeBron has done. However, when I look at Mr. CIAA Player of the Year, when I look at Mr. MEAC Player of the Year, Mr. SWAC Player of the Year, Mr. SIAC Player of the Year, and these brothers don't even get the chance to sniff a court, and they're better than this kid, I got issue with that. Now, it's a dude playing, and I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina right now. So you can look to my right, you can see A&T, you can look to my left, you can see Winston-Salem State. They've both had guys who haven't gotten this opportunity. I appreciate what LeBron is doing, but let's just make sure you're bringing up more than just Bronny. Bring these other guys with you that deserve a shot. But where Bronny's really going to get it, he's going to get it in that G League because those guys got way more to prove than them NBA dudes. Because I think them NBA dudes look at him and they're like, yo, you're not like us. Shout out to Kendrick. But them G League dudes, they're like, hey, you took a spot I should have, and I'm really got something to prove. Shout out to Lil Baby.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Justin, man, I got to ask this question right now, man. I just got to ask. You in a hotel room, bro?
I'm in a hotel room.
I just figured that out. Hey, hold on, man. I Justin in the hotel. Justin in the Holiday Inn. Where you in the Marriott?
I am an official Marriott member.
The Bond boy. No. But I agree. I agree with that take. The nepotism and taking spots of other guys who, from a merit-based system, you would say earn that, right? And it's not like Bronny was drafted and it's a two-way. They got him in the G League. They're drafting him here. This feels like it's a lot more about LeBron James Sr. than it's a lot more than about Bronny James. I think that's a fair criticism to say this is solely about LeBron James. This is not about Bronny. Not at all. Because any of us can look at him and say, yeah, I mean, this is a guy that, one, you're surprised that he's actually on an active NBA roster. And two, I'm going to be surprised that man plays, in anything but garbage time.
And but that's the thing. That's what JJ Redick actually came out and said that, that's not going to happen. He's going to share the court with and that I'm with you. That's going to be the question. Is he really going to get minutes to share the court with LeBron? Because that's the thing. Why do you bring him to the Lake? Why do you bring him? Are you really bringing him to the NBA to play in the G League with the, Santa Cruz, whoever the LA team is? Is that what you brought him for? Or did you bring him to make that history, to get on the court and try to throw an alley-oop to your dad? And woo, man, this is historic. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, that seems to be odd to me that you would have brought him up to the NBA to throw him in the G League. Maybe you did, but I feel like they want to share that court together, and they want to have that moment. And again, it's a great moment, but is it going to be a moment, or is this going to be a thing that you got to actually try out to do? And that's going to be where JJ Redick comes into the equation, and you have to figure out, what are you doing? What are you coaching? What my man say about Deion? You coaching for clicks? Or are you coaching for chips? Because I don't know. Is this historic? Like I said, I think it happened the other year with LeBron when he went to go get the scoring title, and it was about the scoring title versus being about winning. And those are the kind of questions that you get. Shout out to my mom. She is an alumni of both of those schools with WSSU undergrad. Got a master's from A&T. So look, like you said, Justin, you look left, look right, and there you go. It's all over the triad. Trey Folk, shout out to it.
Great woman right there. Absolutely. We appreciate that HBCU love.
Absolutely.
I mean, the thing that I wish with Bronny is I wish he had the chance to prove his talents on his own merit, right? And he can't choose who his father is or who his mother is, just like none of us could, right? Like, shout out to your moms. Hey, Trey, you stepped into an HBCU as a parent that attended two HBCUs. But it's a different level of pressure when we're talking about the NBA here.
Sure.
So you look at all these father and sons, right? And none of these brothers had the opportunity to play. When you look at Harvey and Horace or Kobe and his father, etc. But Bronny will never get the opportunity to be great on his own merit, unlike those Grant kids did, or unlike Kobe did, or the Barry kids, or whoever you want to put in, because all those kids made it to the league on their own merit, where he made it to the league because his dad ain't no arguably on me because I was born in 82, but on some of y'all that's born after me, arguably the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, no, that is very true. And again, well, you say arguably, but arguably the best player in the NBA. But clearly LeBron was. I hate to say he was a better father than MJ, but
Oh,
What do you want to say? I mean,
here we go.
One guy was gambling. One guy was gambling and doing what he was doing. Another guy was playing pickup basketball in the driveway with his kid. I'm sorry. My bad. But hey, you do have an argument. Maybe that was the drive that made MJ better. I don't know. I'm sorry. Somebody.
Hey, shout out to UCF. They still at Jordan School.
I'm in the my ring camera. My little ring light went out.
Stop with this ring.
I mean, my little ring light went out. Right,
oh,
straight OnlyFans stream is right.
Man,
they get no donations right now.
Hey yo, all right, it is getting late. So let's keep moving. Let's talk about this Bradley Beal situation. So before Bradley Beal was traded, and that was hilarious. Before Bradley Beal was traded to the Phoenix Suns, he was a drawn interest from the Milwaukee Bucks. Appearing on the Run Your Race podcast, Bradley Beal revealed that the Bucks were shopping Chris Middleton in their attempts to acquire the three-time All-Star from the Washington Wizards. The Bucks reached a pivot point in the summer of 2023, coming off a 58-win regular season, lost in the first round of playoffs as a number one seed to the Miami Heat. Beal was on the trade block by the Wizards at that point after 5 consecutive losing seasons, with Milwaukee cited as a potential suitor. And again, Eric Nehm of The Athletic, Bucks beat reporter, noted that at the time Bucks trading for Beal would have been difficult to pull off because of his contract and the way Milwaukee's roster was constructed. I think if it was correct, Middleton would have needed to opt in to last year of his deal to get that done. It would have been tough to do. But Bradley Beal, basically his point on the podcast was that the Bucks were dangling Chris Middleton out there as trade bait and would have tried to do that. Now, we calling cap, we calling no cap. I'll say this. I think that I don't know what I guess I don't know what Bradley Beal would have to gain from lying about the situation. I think we know when we talk about John Horst, you know that he's the guy who said, "Hey, Jason Kidd is the guy," and he fired him then like the next day. So I heard him get on radio with my guy Sparky and say Jason Kidd was the guy, and he fired him, like I said, a couple of days later. You seen him? You saw where Drew Holiday and his wife felt, are really upset about the way the trade went down with their with him taking a nap or whatever it was and getting informed that he was going to be traded. So we know that John Horst is definitely out there, trying to get deals. Who knows? Did he make the call? Did somebody make a call to him? How close were they really to getting it done? I don't know. A lot of times agents get involved. I don't think Bradley Beal was lying. I think, now again, like we always know, JT, we're attorneys. There's a version, there's usually another version, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. So if you take what Bradley Beal said and then you go to the other extreme of, no, he was never trade bait, somewhere probably in the middle of what was going on. Again, could it have been that they took a call? Could it have been that they explored it, but they didn't really get close? Could have been they were on the edge of a deal? I don't know. But when there's smoke, there's fire. I just don't get what Bradley Beal has. I don't think he lied. I think his agent probably told him something about, hey, there's Milwaukee deal on the table. It would take moving Middleton. It might be. I don't know. I just don't think he came out and made that up out of thin air that there was that the Bucks would have been willing to trade Chris Middleton. I think that's true. I think that's somewhat true. How true? I don't know that we'll ever know. But again, I thought it was interesting. What I guess what I take away from it is I think a lot of Bucks fans feel like Chris Middleton is going to be here and he's a staple, and I don't care how long he's injured. I just don't know how true that is. And if the Bucks can find a deal where they think it's better, now again, I'll say this: I'm glad it didn't go down because I don't think Bradley Beal is as good as Chris Middleton pound for pound, especially if both are healthy. I definitely don't think that, given what Bradley Beal's done. But I think there probably some questions at the time he was traded. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with it. Glad it didn't happen, but I do think I would not be surprised if, like I said, if I was a fly on the wall, that there some conversations took place. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
So I think with Bradley Beal, I mean, you had to kick the tires on that. I think you certainly did because you saw a need. And I also think that, Horst, your job as a GM, you have to always look at ways of getting better. So the fact that they were even talking with Bradley Beal, I'm comfortable with that. I like that, right? Because you got to sniff around and see. Maybe you don't make that move, but the fact that John Horst said, you know what, listen, I want to see if this is really worth us a chance of getting better. I like it. Big swings is what we need at this point, right? Get up there, and Justin, you're a golf guy. Get up there and hit that thing 300 yards. I don't want to see you play 130-yard golf, right? Where the further shot you're gonna hit is gonna go a $130, and maybe a second shot goes a $132. But you play I don't want to see that, right? So I'm comfortable with Horst's approach here. Having said that, I think as Bucks fans we got to be honest about trading a player when they have value, and I think that when Horst did this, Chris' value was probably a bit higher than it is now. We all know he's still one of the best mid-range. He has one of the best mid-range jumpers in the game. Plays well with Giannis, can make plays. We saw him step up in the Pacers and try to put the team on his back, hobbled legs and all. So we've seen that, and we know what Chris can do. Having said that, we also know that it may be a situation with Chris now where it is a Dwayne Wade type situation where we're not sniffing 60 games. We're probably lucky to sniff 50 games. We played 55 last year. It's probably not going to get any better. You just had this surgery. So at what point is that breakup coming? Because it probably is going to come based on salary, based on it, especially if there's some value there. Maybe you move them and you get better at some point.
Let me put my cap on to address Bradley Beal, because I feel like he's capping. So, dog, you ain't come to Milwaukee, and he may not have been capping about the whole thing with the with the Bucks having interest. I'm not saying he capping about that. He capping about the fact where he said he decided not to come because he didn't want to do Middleton like that. Yeah. No, dog, you ain't come because of Kamaya, whatever the chick name is, your wife. She was like, no, I ain't going to the mill in January in negative 20-degree weather. That's what it is. Like, and the thing about Bradley, dog, you all right, but you not Chris. Chris is a proof. We don't win this championship if it's not for Chris.
It's very true. It's very true.
So I'm a homer. Sorry, but it's two dudes I will never part with because we already parted with one. Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis. Like, we don't get rid of that dude for a Bradley Beal, but you know, it's all good, man. I think what Bradley is, he's practicing some of that toxicity of the Phoenix Suns nature. Shout out to Chris Paul for pushing Giannis when he dunked on him to win the championship. It just kind of trickled down in the effect, and they got a little toxic thing going on. So Bradley Beal looked at the Milwaukee Bucks, looked at us. Hey, we're better. We're better than you now. You got the easy money sniper. Yeah, he a little bit older and long in the tooth now. We're a better basketball team than them, and controversy sells, and that's what he's going to do. And I think that he had that conversation with Bill. With Middleton. I hope he did. I hope he had a conversation with Drew. But if he didn't, hey, man, best thing I learned in my life, man, it ain't personal. It's just business. And like John said, man, if you ain't swinging, what we out here for?
Oh. Did John say that?
I mean,
that's how I perceived it. Hey, shout out to your moms. That might have been my CIAA brain.
Right, hey, listen. One thing that I will say though, and keep in mind, outside of Ben Simmons, does Bradley Beal have the worst contract in the NBA right now? If not, it's maybe one up.
What James Harden doing? I don't know what James Harden got. But
I don't think James got 50. I'll tell you this. I would be willing to bet the farm James Harden didn't get 50. But Bradley Beal, that's just a different conversation altogether. And look, it didn't make sense. I'm just glad that Horst made some contact and did that. But you know,
y'all gonna kill me, man. Y'all hilarious.
You can throw Okafor in them top worst contracts too. I shouldn't have said that though. Hot take.
Yeah, you could. But interesting, and you know, just I get where you going, where you say, hey, I ain't giving up Chris, I ain't giving up Bobby. What they say on the wire? That's the thing about the old days. The old days. You talk about Chris, talk about Bobby. How long we gonna stay in that nostalgia type of time? It's the same thing with you saw that they said the sweepstakes. PJ Tucker's in the sweepstakes. The Bucks are the best. He's 40 years old. It's so. And listen, there was 3 years. You know how much of a PJ Tucker fan I am. I ride die PJ Tucker. I love his game. He's 40 years old. It's over. It's over. The dogs and great hanging in the Lavore. Hang it up. Put it. Hey, he's gonna be on the walls of Fiserv and forever. However long lives on the Bucks, you'll see his name in lights, and he won't get a jersey retired, but he'll be a picture somewhere in the halls of Fiserv Forum where he won the championship, and he's pouring champagne, and he's walking, all over Milwaukee. But at 40 years old, you can't come. Hey, it's over.
Did we lose him?
Same thing with the Nasses. Same thing with the Nasses. Nas made pictures too. Sometimes we gotta let a young boy sit on his bench, dog. You gotta let a young boy sit on his bench. Sorry.
Milwaukee Buck fan and a Raleigh, North Carolina native, I will never say it's over for PJ Tucker. I think we need to bring him back. He a 919 414 legend, my brother.
Well, listen, he did it with Udonis Haslem. So you've seen the blueprint. You've seen the blueprint.
I'm missing audio. I'm not getting audio. Are you getting audio from John, or is it just me?
Not really a vibes guy, because I think Udonis and PJ are both a little bit too angry to be a vibes guy. But they're more of accountability guys, right? That's Unk at this point. They the OG, the AAA, like, who just keep everybody straight and everybody respects them because they keep everybody straight. They keep it a buck with everybody and they're ready to get at. Like, so I agree with you there, right? PJ, now, I don't know what happened between PJ in LA. And I think that, like, if you're going to bring him in, you may want to have a conversation to find out what happened with PJ in LA, because I've seen a whole lot of bad attitudes, a whole lot of did not plays, a whole lot of what do you go like X amount of games straight, no points, no nothing. I don't know what happened to PJ in LA. But what I'll say is that what I saw with PJ in LA was uncharacteristic of what we've seen with PJ previously and just about every other stop he'd been at. So I'm just going to hope that that's a one-off. But if it's a situation where, PJ want to come in for a vet man, do we make that work?
All right. It's a wrap.
Release him, right? Because that's what I'm saying on the trade. This is what I was saying. Is it an Udonis Haslem situation where he's just that dude? He's that 15th man on the bench. Half the games, he don't even got a jersey on underneath his warm-ups, right? Is it that type of situation?
Did Udonis Haslem, like, what chip Udonis Haslem in them years with the Miami Heat, them last 4-5, he was worthless, useless.
Got him.
Bring him as a coach.
He was on the team that got him there, though.
So
yeah. So
can I ask y'all?
And it was over. You got him there. It was over. Go ahead.
So who's a better player? And this is about to piss Bucks Nation off, and I'm sorry. PJ Tucker right now, current day, or Thanasis Antetokounmpo?
That's actually tough. I probably say PJ.
I probably go Thanasis.
You said you go Thanasis?
I'm gonna go Thanasis, and the reason why is because
that's crazy.
You know what you're getting with Thanasis as a role player. You know you're getting a ball of energy. You know he gonna give you three. He gonna give you this. He gonna be a batterer. Yeah, but he's playing his role. He's playing his part at this point. Like, that's his role, is to get out there and do that. You don't got Thanasis out there to get points. You got Thanasis out there maybe to get a foul, maybe to get boards, maybe to fire some folks up and get everybody excited. And that's his role.
You excited about a turnover? I'm excited about a turnover. I'm excited about a turnover.
Man, PJ Tucker ain't doing nothing out there but pouting.
Well, he'll grab PJ Tucker grab like you said. You said somebody go out there and get a foul. If you told PJ Tucker to go out there, he get a foul. He can grab you an important. Hey, let me tell you this. I bet you money, PJ. If we was in Indiana, PJ Tucker would have got one of them rebounds. That Indiana game where the ball was rolling around, PJ Tucker would have got one of them rebounds. I know that.
And he would have knocked that. He would have knocked that kung fu fighter out too.
James Johnson, yeah, exactly. Hey, James Johnson shot away Forrest,
but we got to shout out the real dude, the 919 legend. I'm up there in Raleigh, so I'm gonna bring PJ back. And the reason, everything that John was talking about as far as that Udonis role, but the thing is, PJ's a dog, and he brings a mentality that the nasty doesn't bring. Now, and John, I hear you, brother. I definitely hear you when you're talking about, because you're talking about keeping the greatest player walking the earth right now. I'm biased. My shirt says Milwaukee Bucks. Keeping him in line. So that, there's no quintessential value on that. But PJ Tucker teaching Ajax, AJ Johnson, Tyler Smith, he got pushed around tonight. You got a PJ Tucker on the roster.
Sure.
Them guys get a little bit tougher. You a little bit.
Sure.
The question wasn't who would I rather have. It was who I think is a better player at this point.
Well, I should have asked a better question. My bad. I'm new to this. I should say who's a better player for the Bucks. But I'm gonna tell you this. Hey, if I'm walking in the club and there's 12 dudes want to fight me, and I know one of y'all boys got it with y'all, I'm swinging on everybody. And that's who PJ Tucker is.
He is, yes.
But to be fair, Thanasis is also that dude, though. Thanasis is that friend to stay ready. Thanasis is that friend to stay ready. Thanasis might be that friend with the thing in the backpack that somehow snuck it in the man purse, and everybody like, how you get that in here? I don't know, but okay, we know who got it if it jumps off. Thanasis is, and one thing I'll say is, I mean, different style, different thing, right? He's not angry. That's the difference. PJ Tucker's an angry man, right? Like, it is what it is. Now, overall basketball player. Funny thing about PJ Tucker, did y'all know PJ Tucker was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year at Texas?
And that lets you know how good basketball players are. That a guy like PJ Tucker can be the same thing. You know, did you know that what's the man's name who's playing in Israel right now? Pat Beal. You know, he averaged like 30. He averaged like 30 a night in high school. Like that. Like, them guys are good. You get to the league, you got to play a role. That's all it is. You get to the league, you got to play a role. But yeah, we splitting hairs on how bad Thanasis and PJ Tucker. Listen, let me say, to answer your question, both of them right now in the league are useless. That's the answer. Both of them right now in the league are absolutely useless.
Wait, Thanasis still unsigned, right?
Yeah, he unsigned. Yeah, he is a supporting from the crowd. Again, hey, put him on the bench as a coach. I have no problem with that. I didn't know talk about Joe Prunty. I didn't know. I was speaking of coaches. Joe Prunty he get demoted. My man on the back row now. Man went from the interim head coach. Now he's sitting on the back row at the games. Man, he just hanging out. My man want to check bad. He like, I don't care. I'll take the check. Put me on the back row front. Wherever y'all need me, that's where I go. I'm just surprised at Joe Prunty, man, dude. Man, I like Joe though. But go ahead. You had something else.
He a playoff coach. Took the Bucks to the playoffs, but the Nash is good. He keep throwing out them first pitches for the Brewers and getting his jersey signed by Mike Moustakas.
There you go. Right. There you go. Exactly. He can do all of that. Absolutely.
He got his podcast. You know, he got his podcast out there. The Nash game.
Exactly. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. That's good for him. Let's look around the NBA, NFL as well. Just real quick. Lakers beat the Bucks 107-102. Pacers 129-117 over the Cavs. The Jazz beat the Mavericks 107-102 tonight. The Charlotte Hornets looking good in the preseason. 22 points for your boy Brandon Miller, 119-94 over the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Thunder beat an Australian team tonight, 117-89, whoever that is. So shout out to my man Noah Lyles, who I guess is another example of an NBA team who could beat a team from around the world. This is a global competition, right, JT? 117-89 over the BNZ Breakers. Again, I think they're out of Australia, but hey, we got to see these guys play international competition, or they're not world champions. That's what it is. So here's one: the BZN Breakers clearly are not world champions because they can't even beat the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Let me tell you.
So there we go.
No one was a world champion. That boy Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles in the Olympics in the 100-meter dash is the world champion, sir.
He's a bronze champion in the 200.
He is a 100-meter champion.
Yeah, when he don't have COVID. Karan Jammer, Kenner, who appreciate you, Karan. You were with us last year, all year, man. I appreciate you coming back. Yo, Bradley Beal ain't lying, but I'm glad it didn't go through. Chris is a way better performer in the playoffs by a country mile, and that's all we should care about. Again, I agree with that. And then the football game tonight, I know the San Francisco 49ers won. Let me see, what was the final score? I only have it pulled up. 49ers beat the Seahawks 36-24, so a good day for them. Purdy, 3 touchdowns. I did see Deebo Samuel, 3 catches, 102 yards. He had a touchdown. So big night for the San Francisco 49ers getting a dub over the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, anything else, you guys? I guess I did want to mention the Green Bay Packers. Romeo Doubs getting suspended, having to come back from that. You know, I thought that was interesting. Again, no RETs accused for the next couple of weeks due to Wisconsin Badgers football. But, you know, just really quickly, anything on the Packers and what you're seeing, you know, what you're seeing from that. That's just, again, it's just interesting things, distractions that have to come up. And you know, this football team having to figure out what they're doing when you look at a Minnesota who's playing very well. And everybody thought I was telling a lie. I can't remember, a couple weeks ago somebody called in and was talking about, you know, who is going to be, you know, competing for the NFC North and all this. And I said, don't sleep on the Chicago Bears. They are, 3-2? They 3-2, trying to make a little noise in the NFC North. That's all I'm saying. Again, NFC North, is that the best division of football? One of the best divisions of football right now? Like, they up there. They up there. Record wise, they're definitely up there as one of the best divisions in football. So again, it's a lot of fun. But give me any thoughts on Romeo Dobbs in that situation? It just seems odd. Like, you're not enough footballs going around, and you got Jordan Love who shows up in a Brett Favre jersey. So I didn't know if that was to that he was going to be stealing money from poor people, but actually he came out and just decided that he was going to be a gunslinger now all of a sudden he just throws. It don't matter. He just throw the ball anywhere. I mean, again, a lot of talent. He just don't care no more. He just I'm throwing to whoever gets it, and we throwing touchdowns, we throwing interceptions. I don't care. But again, Jordan Love is showing me that I like it though. I do like he's going out there playing some good football, but just tone it down just a little bit with the mistakes. But again, it's interesting. Romeo Dobbs. What do you think about that situation?
Well, I'll tell you, and I'm going to defer to Justin on this, but I'll get this out first. And this is what I said, pre-show. The interesting thing to me about Dobbs is that this whole receivers thing it's been about vibes with these receivers. You hear Christian Watson. They talk about, he's at the number one blocking wideout this year, and he's like, listen, I don't care as long as we're winning. I don't really care how many targets I get or where. And you hear that, and then you hear about Dobbs and Wicks and Reed and. We all thought that everything was happy. We're all happy, right? Like it's 4 score. We good, and apparently, so this is very interesting because this is in sharp contrast to what's been sold to us as Packer fans. Is okay, well they're good with this. They're very unselfish. It's a very selfless group. Apparently not. And now the question is how do you get that guy in the room now? Whatever gripe it was, and shout out to the Packers because they didn't let too much leak about what the actual issue was. But now you have a situation where you have a guy who you suspended for conduct detrimental because he was showing his ass. Now you coming out, and now you rejoining the group. And the question is, how does that fit? Is everybody like, oh, it's Rome, he cool, we good, or is it like, this dude tripped? And now what's the question with the coach? The other thing is, he had 20 targets through 4 games. It happens. So it's not like you weren't completely an afterthought. And actually, in 2 games, he had above 7 targets, and that was the first game against Minnesota. That was what the game against Minnesota. He had 7 targets, and then who was that? Indiana, or I'm sorry, Minnesota. He had 8 targets, and then Philly he had 7. I mean, like he's been targeted. So I don't really know what the issue is, but I do think this is something you got to monitor moving forward. And you know what? I'm gonna just tell y'all. He's up for a new deal after this year. Watson's up for a new deal after this. Somebody gonna be mad if they don't get their money. That's just kind of these things work.
Yeah, man, it's a little bit disheartening as a lifetime Packer fan to see these guys out here who they said that we cared more about the name on the front of the jersey or the side of the helmet because we don't have names on the front of the jersey in the NFL. The side of the helmet versus your back. I just hope that this is something where your setback doesn't dictate what the rest of your career is or the rest of your time as a Packer is, man. I think Romeo has a lot of talent in him, but he got to play better. I think Jay Love got to play better too, man. But, ain't nobody worried about them boys with their fingernail paint, man. We straight over here. We doing this just like the Bucks. We regular season and that's it, man. Shout out to your brother-in-law, the Bears on his fingernails. Let's go. We can't wait till we see them. I'm not convinced of these Minnesota Vikings. They looked super pedestrian once Aaron Jones went out in that Packers game. They didn't look that great against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers just looked like he had more gray in his beard than I have in mine right now. And it's time for him to sit down too. But I just feel like it's all going to be good. But, man, I would be remiss if I didn't say, our thoughts and our well wishes. And I'm sure all you brothers would echo it, especially you, Trey, out here in the state of North Carolina, for them folks out there in the western part of the state and them people down there in Florida, man. I hope that y'all really keep everything. I don't know what you can keep, but just do the best you can with the situation you're dealt with, man. And, man, it was just a pleasure being with y'all brothers tonight, man. The Bucks didn't win. Shout out to your moms. Awesome lady. Double HBCU grad. Could never say nothing negative about that. And, JT, you a superhero, big bro.
I got 2 questions for you, and I appreciate that, sir. But I got 2 questions for y'all. Since we giving shout outs to people in Carolina, we went ahead and we hit on Asheville, right? We hit on the western side. We want to do that. We're gonna go ahead and big up Cam Newton, who got the job on First Take with ESPN, right? But one of y'all brothers gonna give a shout out to your boy Mark Robinson?
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna shout out to Mark. Not
You
gonna
give a
shout
shout
out
out to Mark Robinson?
Nah.
Hey, I'm in the hotel. My internet don't work well. I didn't hear what you said. It sounded like you said, I don't even know what you said, but it's all good, my brother.
Hey, I said Mark Robinson. Is he getting a shout out?
You say Cliff Robinson, the dude used to wear the headbands for the Trailblazers? David Robinson, the Spurs? Hey, can I forgot one thing with the Bucks when y'all was talking about the bench players and stuff like that, man. It was a guy that wore that 22 before Chris Middleton wore it that started out on that bench. That was a borderline if they had two-way contracts, and these boys better take some heat from Michael Redd and get right.
Yeah, Mike Redd, man. When I was first in the Bradley, man, this dude when Chris Middleton first got to the Bucks, season tickets guy, we sat behind all when Chris Redd literally, I mean, from the moment he got there and started playing, every time he hit a bucket, there's a gentleman in front of me would be like, Mike Redd, I see you, Mike Redd, and to see Chris Middleton's growth, to see where he's gone, taking his game. Again, it mirrors a little bit mirrors, and has done a real good job. And again, appreciate you shouting out. I 100% echo those words about the folks in the Carolinas and what's going on. Like I said, no thanks to Mark Robinson. But shout out to everybody in the Carolinas.
Stay off of Nude Africa, by the way. Stay off of Nude Africa.
I didn't know what
Mark
it was.
Robinson. Now, Mark Robinson not only had to go on Nude Africa, but then he had to comment to make sure you saw him out there. Boy, where did they get these politicians from?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah. He about as bad as your boy John Edwards. So the North Carolina boys on some stuff. Again, man, we appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Man, this is a fun one. First one of the year at the Cream City Crossover. Listen, man, we had to start. I don't like the way I did the intro tonight. It's the preseason for everybody, so I'm preseason as well. We'll get at least one more in before opening night for the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe it's October 23rd against the Philadelphia 76ers. Last year's opening night for the Bucks, Damian Lillard, we thought it was going to be a precursor for so much to come when he went crazy down the stretch for the Philadelphia 70s against the 76ers. I think was that the home opener or was that just the open? That might have just been the regular opener for the Bucks.
What was the opener? I think it was a home opener.
I just don't remember if it was the home opener or just the regular season opener, but it might have been both. But yeah, we want to see more of that, man. We really appreciate you. Any final words from any of you guys before we close out of here and come back?
Man, no sir. You're gonna go ahead and post one the next time we're shooting the next show. But man, I'm excited to be back with y'all boys this year. I think we're gonna see a lot of great things from this Bucks team. I think the NBA media is insane when they sleeping on the Bucks. I get that they've been knocked out in the first round 2 years in a row. But the players know that any team with Giannis, Dame, Chris, Bobby, and Co. is an absolute buzzsaw to run through in the East. So I'm glad I just look forward to big up in this squad with you guys after this year and after this game and bringing a lot more attention to this Bucks.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all brothers for having me, man. We're gonna quote the boy John Moran. It's gonna be a parade in my city in July, and we coming through down there. We're gonna be JT up there. Shout out to Chris for allowing me to sit in the seat tonight and be a part of this, man. And it's always Marquette over them Dayton Flyers. Let's go.
Hey man, it's gonna be a lot of nights you sitting in the seat, so we're gonna have a lot of fun as we go through this year at the Cream City Crossover. The Triple C's doing what we do. Tell a friend about the Cream City Crossover. We will be back. I'm not sure exactly the next preseason game. I know we'll do at least one more. I'm just not sure. I know. See, the next one is, I believe they play again Monday night against the Bulls. Yeah, I don't know. And then they got one more next Thursday against the Dallas Mavericks. That'll be definitely a tune-up before the regular season against the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid and them boys out in Philadelphia to see what they got, because they did add Paul George. So that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a crazy post-game show. Again, we appreciate everybody for joining us, man. Again, view it for a preseason game. Again, a lot of people who joined us and listened in and watched us tonight. So you guys are the real, are true Bucks fans. So we appreciate every single one of you. Tell a friend about the Cream City Crossover. We're on your T's and Q's as well. 97.3 The Game. We're off for the next couple weeks there due to Badgers post-game coverage. But yeah, we'll be back all throughout the year. Keep it locked. Follow the Cream City Crossover. Follow our pages, Twitter, what have you. And we'll keep you always up to date and informed on everything that's going on with the Milwaukee Bucks. The best place to find Milwaukee Bucks post game coverage, videos, content, all of it right here at the Cream City Crossover. And yeah, man, we'll do it again next time. It's the Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Justin.
Don't take no wooden nickels. Courage.